Alright guys, so we got another just out of the shower video because of course as soon as I go on vacation for the first time in a long time, all this NFL news decides to break. So today I got the notification while just chilling, reading my book, out by the pool, that Carson Wentz has been traded to the Washington Commanders. And I feel like this is such an L for the Colts, just off the bat here. This just seems like such an L for the Colts. They traded a first-round pick for him last year. Then, in a win-and-get-in game, versus the worst team in the NFL, they lost and didn't make the playoffs. I said when the Colts made that trade last season that it was playoff or bust for them after making that trade. Like, for that trade to be a success, they needed to make the playoffs. And then they didn't. When the opportunity was almost handed to them, and they just couldn't get it done. Let's just talk about who was traded or what picks were traded in this trade. So the Colts received a 2022 third-round pick, a 2023 third-round pick that can turn into a second-round pick if Wentz plays 70% of the snaps. Washington received, obviously, Carson Wentz and a 2022 second. Also, Washington is taking on his salary, so this does open up a lot of cap space for the Colts. I'm honestly surprised the Colts also had to trade a second with Carson. I understand probably because, Washington took on his salary and stuff. But oh my gosh, you just traded a first-round pick. At minimum, you traded one of your picks. That wasn't even the full thing. You traded, in part of your trade deal last year, if you're the Colts, a first-round pick for this man. One of the picks you traded was a first-round pick on top of other picks. And now you trade him a season later for a third-round pick, maybe a second-round pick next year, but you're also giving away a second-round pick this year. And now the Colts don't have a first-round pick this year. That's the other thing that's really crazy for the Colts. They don't have a first-round pick this year. So do you think they're drafting a quarterback? I don't think so, because they don't have really the assets to even move up to draft in the first round. I think it's going to be hard for them to move up to the first round when they don't have a first-round pick. They would have to trade next year's pick and a bunch of other picks. And the Colts are in a win-now mode. So the quarterback that I think makes the most sense is Jimmy G. But please, 49ers, don't trade Jimmy G till at least tomorrow, because I come home from vacation tomorrow. And I would love to actually be able to sit at my setup with my microphone and record a nice reaction video. Not like this, but I think that would probably be the best situation for the Colts there. Maybe Jared Goff. Maybe they traded for Jared Goff. He's not terrible. Been to a Super Bowl, As for Washington, let's talk about Washington's side of this deal now. We knew Washington was looking for a quarterback. We knew they were like, okay, we seriously need to upgrade the quarterback position. Carson Wentz is better than Taylor Heineke. Carson Wentz is better than Taylor Heineke. Let's just say that. He is. Carson Wentz, his numbers weren't terrible last year, but my big thing with Carson Wentz and the big downfall of Carson Wentz is when the moment is big and when he needs to perform, he simply cannot. He is the opposite of clutch. He's the opposite of clutch. This man is the opposite of clutch. He sometimes makes great throws, and sometimes he makes the most head-scratching, terrible interceptions that are like underhand softball tosses almost, which is like, wait, you're not even supposed to throw a football like that. Why are you throwing the football like that? So I think this is definitely an upgrade at the QB position for Washington, but I don't know if it was better than them drafting a quarterback in the first round. Maybe they still are, though. Like, who knows? Maybe this is just a bridge quarterback for them. Maybe they are going to draft a quarterback in the first round and have them have whoever the quarterback they draft is sit behind Wentz. I don't know if I would like that. That kind of reminds me of the Mike Glennon Trubisky thing that happened in Chicago when the Bears gave Glennon all that money and then drafted Trubisky. But I think this is definitely an upgrade at quarterback for Washington, but I don't know if it's the best move they could have made. I don't know. Is Washington in win-now mode? Not like, necessarily. Like, they can win now. They could be in win now mode. They have the team. Offensive line could be better, but quarterback has been that big hole for them. And I don't know if Carson Wentz can take you to the playoffs, though, if you're Washington. That's the thing. I don't know if Carson Wentz is taking you to the playoffs if you're the Washington Commanders. He couldn't do it with the Colts, who had a better roster, in my opinion, than the Commanders. And now Washington just trades for him. Honestly, the big risk here for Washington is just the cap situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, they traded a third round pick and possibly a second round pick next year. That could be a third round pick if Wentz doesn't play. Like, a third round pick and another third round pick, or maybe that third round pick turns into a second round pick. Like, it's not the biggest risk. So I like the move from Washington's perspective of, okay, we know we really have needed a quarterback. This isn't going to cost a first-round pick. Let's do it. And let's see where we're at. And I'm interested to see how Carson does play in Washington. You know, he's back in the NFC East. He had so much potential in the Eagles. He almost won MVP that year. He didn't tear his ACL. And then things kind of went downhill after that. But we'll see. We'll see if he can turn around. But this is really the last chance, I feel, for Carson Wentz. This is his third team. And if he can't stick as a starter with Washington, if he's not playing well with Washington, then I think he's a backup. Like, I don't think he gets another starting opportunity after this. So, yeah, definitely interesting news. We kind of saw the reports a couple weeks ago that the Colts did want to move on from Carson Wentz, which made sense. I understood. And, yeah, we'll see where they go at quarterback. It's going to be really interesting to see because they don't have that first-round pick. So, even if they want to trade for someone, they don't have a first-round pick to trade this year. So, really interesting situation for the Colts. That is it for this video, guys. Appreciate you watching until the end. Peace.